Hi guys, and welcome back to Chelsea Fan TV. My name is Michelle.
My name is Nina. Welcome back to a new episode of Carefree Queens, everyone. We are hoping you are well. We are well. It's so hot right now at the moment in
Yeah,
England and Denmark. Summer is here. The summer transfer window is here, so there is plenty to get into, isn't there?
absolutely. Yeah, there's not really much else to be said. I think we should just dive straight into it. We have
Yeah.
a few players we want to talk about. We touched briefly on Kovacic leaving for City potentially last time, but we didn't really get into depth. So maybe we should start with Mateo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there was a lot of stuff that we placed on hold for the Champions League final. Obviously, Lukaku, Onana, Kovacic is a move as well. So I think we'll see a lot of action in the next few days now that the Champions League final is done.
Yeah.
We'll actually see ourselves in talks with the clubs. The moves will be a lot more realistic, and we'll find out exactly what is happening, and in terms of Kovacic going to City, how much money we're getting for him. But where I stand with Kovacic is that, yes, I absolutely am impressed with how far he has come at Chelsea, what he has done, his contributions, and
Yeah.
he's one of those senior players that you've relied on a lot of the time. Not always been a regular starter, but when he has been there, he has been very useful. He has helped our team. He's played very good transitional football, good dribbler, all of that stuff, and his attitude has always been good. He's a good servant to the club, so there's no bad feelings in terms of that. However, I would say that his mind has not really been there last season. I know a lot of players haven't been. It's been hard to stay positive, to stay hungry, to be in the game, to want to play, etc. Obviously, we know there's been a lot of factors, especially with Kovacic as well, with his injuries. So we know that has been an issue for him. However, for me, it just looks like he's ready to move on. So I think us as fans can only just really back that and let him go. There's no point of keeping players anymore that just don't really want to hang around and just pushing something that's just not really there anymore. So everything comes to an end. I think this is the right time for that. And I know people are unhappy that it is Man City, but I see it this way. I see it. No other club is coming in to offer that sort of money for Mateo Kovacic. We're going to get the most money out of a Premier League club. Unfortunately, it's got to be a rival. That's just how it goes. Pep wants Kovacic. He fits the system. Don't know if he'll be a regular starter, but a player in rotation at least. And financially, it's a good thing. Maybe sentimentally, it will be a little bit crap to take in. But at the end of the day, that's football. Where do you stand with Cover?
It's one of the decisions I'm more at peace with, because he is one of our older players. I reckon he still has a few years left in him, if not more than a few years. But like you said, everything must come to an end, and I just felt like this was one of the more sensible things, especially if you don't want to stay at the club. And we've just brought in so many youngsters and a world-class midfielder. I don't think talent necessarily beat experience. And there's no doubt that he is a massive player. But it's not really something that's bothering me too much. I reckon we can replace him, and I mean, I will be honest with you. I I don't think we're gonna reach nor compete with City next season. I don't know. They won Premier League, they won FA Cup, and they won Champions League. Like, they are out of our league. I wish we could say that we would be competitive with them, etc. But we won't. We will not. So I don't think it's gonna be that big of a difference if we're gonna keep Mateo or if they're gonna get him. So I reckon it's gonna be good for him as well. I reckon it's gonna be good for the way he plays. A change of scenery, really. I think it's going to be good for him, and I think it's going to be really good for the club as well. To change it up a bit, give more room for the younger players to even have to step up as well. Because when you take away an older and experienced player, you automatically expect other people who play the exact same position as him to step up and take more responsibility. So, I mean, we might as well just get the best out of it, and I'm not too bothered about it, to be honest.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you on what you say. And I mean, Mateo Kovacic is one of those players. He has literally got so much experience up his sleeve. And I don't just mean in terms of playing senior football. I mean, look at him. Obviously, he came from Real Madrid, was on loan, impressed us. We signed him to have that sort of journey, Real Madrid to Chelsea to Man City. Not every player gets to have that. He's got 4 Champions Leagues. He's off to move to a team that have just won their first Champions League as well. In teams where you compete in big European competitions and trophies and whatnot. So, like you said, I think he's obviously he's coming into his 30s now, but I feel like there's still a lot more playing time in him. He definitely probably will win more trophies. I mean, essentially, he's going to Man City. They've obviously on a run at the moment on a trophy streak, so he's going into another winning club. Essentially, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So he's got quite the journey. And yeah, I mean, every player dreams of playing for these clubs, you know, Real Madrid and Chelsea and whatnot. So for him to have that sort of journey, to have that sort of experience, he's played alongside the best, of course, in Croatia as well, and he plays alongside Modric as well. And you know, it's a good experience to have. So for me, he's a fantastic player. He's been brilliant. A lot of the times when he has played for us, obviously he won Player of the Season as well at one point, but he's just been that continuous backbone in many of our games as well. He's played alongside Jorginho and Kante. Obviously, ultimately they were our best midfielders in a lot of those in a lot of those times over the past few years. Again, another player who's played under several managers. And yeah, for me, there's no sour feeling, there's no bad blood there. I'm happy if we get money off him, then it's time to move on. We need to generate revenue, and it's good to say that we can do that with Kovacic. So we've got players there that we can actually generate revenue off, because you know they're still good, they're still wanted. To be wanted by a Premier League club obviously as well is a big deal, especially one that's at the top right now, up there in, you know, one of the best clubs in the world, if not the best. So in that sense, yeah, like you said, I'm avoiding being sentimental with a lot of these players that are linked with moves away now, because we know that's what we need to do. We know we need a clear out, so there's no point of trying to hang on to players that should have left a season ago, or should have, you know, left, shouldn't be here for Chelsea to stay for the next few years and to be part of this project. There is no point of hanging on to those players, and obviously Poch knows best what we need. So again, we're trusting our manager. That's the decision we make. But of course, are you worried that obviously Kovacic is leaving? That's going to be agreed. Personal terms have agreed there. Same goes with Mount, Kante, of course, as well. We know Ruben Loftus-Cheek. So with all these departures, are you worried that it's not like we're slow in terms of doing the business of kind of getting rid of them, knowing that they're gone, we've generated some money, and then addressing the buying and then spending the money on filling those positions? Are you worried that we are a bit slow in doing that, and not enough players have actually solidly, you know, been agreed to have left and have walked out the door? It's one thing to say, oh, we've agreed personal terms. It's another thing to hear Fabrizio Romano's "here we go." So where do you stand with that?
Do you think in terms of other clubs, like we're slower than other clubs? Yeah, so I don't know, to be honest. I reckon the Mason thing has been underway too long. And I feel like everyone knows that he's gone, but it's just not official yet. I heard something about that the reason it's taking so long with him is because Chelsea is staying with 80 mil, I think. They want 80 million for him. And
70.
you don't want to... Sorry?
I think it's 70, something around there.
Yeah,
But
around
we've
there,
overpriced him.
And City don't want to accept that. So I think that's why it's taking so long with that. And I mean, yeah, I would prefer it to be quicker, but I also think it's a positive thing that we're not just gonna settle, that we're actually
pushing to get the money off.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? He is a good player, and there is no doubt he's going to rise in United. So you don't want to give him away as a gift. You actually want to get, even though I think we should sell him for more, but I think it's a
Really?
positive thing. Yeah.
How much
Yeah.
would
I
you
think,
price Mason Mount for?
oh,
Because I know that you're a big Mason Mount fan as well, so I know that you've obviously got that there as well. You've got a slight bias
yeah.
towards him, and obviously you would rate him as more. But out of interest, how much money would you give him to United for?
I don't know if I'm gonna sound mad, but I actually don't think 100 is too ridiculous. Yeah,
Really?
no, I
A
know, but
hundred
it's just
mil.
okay. Look at it this way. Look at it this way. His
The
age,
comments
what?
coming in now.
His age, yeah. He's 24, 23,
Hmm.
somewhere around there. He has many years left in him. Um, he was player of the season 2 seasons in a row. He can score when he's on his best. He can score, and we know he can. He is fast, and the way he views and reads the game, and the passes he makes. And he is under the right manager. He is gonna strive. Also, because it's a rival team, you don't want to hand it away and give it away for too little. So I just say start out with 100, especially because my dad always taught me this. You always want to say your offer too high. Let's say you ideally want 90, 85 for him. You want to say, all right, 100, because then do you know what I mean? Then you actually meet the price you want for him. But I
Wow.
mean,
I
yeah, I don't
think
know. It's just
I hear you on that, but I think 70 million is too much for Mason Mount. And that's not
okay.
me. That's just me looking at it. Right. He's got 1 year left on his contract. He's
Hmm.
coming off the back of a very poor season. And yes, I'm not going to be one of those fans that is like blindly judging him just on this really poor season, because every player has a bad season. The best of the best have bad seasons. Unfortunately, this season was just bad for not only Mount, a lot of players.
Hmm.
He obviously experienced a lot of problems on a physical, personal level as well. But yeah, obviously that's not an excuse either. However, when you take into consideration those factors, and I don't quite know, but of course I hear what you're saying. I'm happy as well that we're pushing for more. Of course I am. He's a homegrown player, like you said. He's been with Chelsea for as long as he can remember. He
Yeah.
obviously is a very important kind of component to Chelsea Football Club. When you think Chelsea, a lot of people think Mason Mount. You know, that's just kind of who you link it with.
Yeah.
So in terms of that, yes, I'm happy that we're pushing for more, because, like you said, it'll be funny on us. It'll be a joke on us if he goes off and thrives in Ten Hag's system, you know, next season, and they're pushing
Yeah.
for, you know, competing against City potentially and playing in Europe. So in that aspect, yeah. However, at the same time, I don't think that we would get more than 55, 60 million for Mount. If we do, then great. But again, that's just that in my personal opinion still be great if we can get that off him. But yeah, like I said, I'm happy that we're not backing off. I mean, we overbuy for players, so it's normal that we will oversell some of them. You know, look at Kai Havertz as well. Bought him for 75 mil. Now he's barely getting 50 million even appreciated for him. You know, Real Madrid moans at that price. So to think that we have to even go below that to actually get somebody to want Kai Havertz as well is a different question. Of course, Mason Mount, homegrown as well. We need to still at least sustain some of our dignity and actually, you know, on that side of things, think better. And obviously that is where we judge the ownership. That's where we judge the board as well. That's where we judge how we're selling and buying in this window. Because like you said, if we give away all these players with experience and with great pedigrees for pennies, then that's a joke on us. Firstly, because we need to make money and we leave ourselves in a pickle, and secondly, just on the reputation side of things, you know, you're really gonna embarrass us like that. So it's very important to see how we go in here. So yeah, I say if we're overbuying players, sell them on an overpriced level. So yeah, come on, let's push for 100 million. Man United sign Mason Mount for 100 million. Give us 100 million.
I do want to emphasize, I always try to say and remind people that I'm very happy I'm not in charge of the club, because I do think I have some really good opinions, but I don't think I would be fit. Like, I'm so happy I don't have that responsibility, but like you said, I just don't think you should sell players who grew up in the club and have potential. He has potential. He's shown us what he can do with the right squad. He's going to be, I say he's going to thrive at United. And good for him. Good for him. Sucks for us, but good for him. That's where I am with him. I might
there you have it.
Delusional, but
everyone, let us know in the comments down below how you would price Mason Mount, because I'm intrigued to know. But anyways, moving away from Mason Mount, I want to talk about a player that's linked with perhaps a loan. To be loaned off. Someone that barely saw the light of day on the pitch, was left to hang out dry on the bench for a lot of the start of the season, even though, he came last season in summer. Carney Chukwuemeka. So, of course, a young baller, someone that in my eyes is very talented, is very calm and collected for his age and his lack of experience. That's a pattern here that we're repeating kind of essentially with these young prospects. But Carney is someone that has impressed me. Barely played. I think he's made about, less than 5 appearances perhaps in the Prem, if I'm not wrong. But, like I said, barely got on any minutes, been very mistreated. When he's put on a good performance, he's been benched the next game, which hasn't quite made sense, especially when we neared the end of the season and nothing mattered anymore. He still wasn't getting playing time. So I like Carney Chukwuemeka. I would like to see him be worked and trained by Pochettino essentially in this team. I think that he could have a place in this squad next season, especially because we are looking at these rising young talents as well, and we brought him in to stay. I wouldn't quite like to see him go off on loan, I don't think, next season. I would perhaps like to keep Chukwuemeka. What are your thoughts on that?
I think most of the time loans are a good idea. They are going to mature the player. They are ideally going to get way more playing time. And I kind of see where Pochettino is going with this. I don't think he's going to, because like you say, he barely got any playing time. Also, I think this is sort of his way to make sure he's going to play and to make sure that he's going to gain even more experience. To touch upon another young player who went abroad, even younger though, was Nani. He was in the Netherlands from a very young age, and it matured him to the player he is today. And he's younger than you and I are, and he's very mature and he's very gifted. So I don't think necessarily loaning out players is a bad idea, and I kind of do see the motive behind it, but I just think that's what comes with overbuying. When we summer last year, or like in the beginning of the season, I think we had, I'm tripping now, but at one point I remember seeing everywhere that we could make 3 lineups, and all of the lineups actually looked really good on paper. They were supposed to do really good. So I think there's just sort of the consequences of overbuying, and I would way rather loan him out rather than selling him, which is just, I would think that was really delusional, but you just never know with this owner. Obviously I would prefer him to see play for Chelsea, but I don't think it's necessarily the worst thing that could happen. I just hope it's going to mature him, and I hope it's going to benefit us in the end, and that he's going to get way more playing time. So I'm actually not that stressed about it. At first I saw it, I was a bit like, it's annoying to see the players you like and you see potential in move away from the club, but then at the same time when you loan them out, it's because you do want to mature them, you do want to groom them in a way and not actually let go of them, and then hopefully when they come back they've gained something.
I feel like that's true, but when you're perhaps obviously working with a more senior team, and perhaps you've got this new addition into the team, and you'd like to give him the opportunity to go off, play perhaps in a different league or in a different team in the same league, but to gain, like you said, that experience, that maturity, and to progress in a different way. But what you also have with that is, I think because what Pochettino's working with next season essentially is all these young players that, like you said, we would be loaning out left, right, and centre had it been, last year, the year before. But now, because I think the project looks slightly more different, and we are looking to keep these players that we would perhaps loan out on any other day in the squad to progress in the first team under this new manager, I feel like this ideology gets to keep Chukwuemeka. Do you see what I mean? So I absolutely do hear your point. But at the same time, I think he can, like the other players that we've seen glimpses of, obviously Noni Madueke is young, Mudryk is young, Lewis Hall is young, Gallagher's young, all these players that perhaps are going to be worked with Pochettino to build, a young squad that is winning in the future. From that aspect, keep Carney because he can equally progress. And you know what? I mean, he looked so bright, even in the few games that he played. He took it up until the end, and he wasn't shy or fearful to take responsibility, to make crosses, or to perhaps even have a shot, even if it's in the keeper's hands, even if it's slightly wide or slightly over the bar, to at least try it, because a lot of even our more senior players were scared to do that this season, to take responsibility to shoot. So whatever. But yeah, that's going to be a question mark there to see what happens with Carney. But you know what? I've just remembered something I really wanted to talk about. Speaking of our own, you have a very interesting story about Reece James that I would like to share with everyone. It makes us laugh now. It wasn't quite a funny story when it
wasn't
happened.
funny at all.
It wasn't funny at all.
Now.
We don't have too much time, but just really quickly, Reece James, obviously a lot of players are now out on their breaks. They are on holiday. They are in the sun, chilling. They've been on the beach for the last 5-6 months, but, now they're really on the beach. Anyway, besides the point, Reece James went to Denmark. Of course, you guys know, or you don't know, Michelle lives in Denmark.
I do.
And he was a couple hours away from where Michelle lives in Denmark. And we thought it'd be a fantastic idea to try and get her to meet, Reece James. Never mind that I'm in London and I haven't met the guy. I decided that it'd be fun to get them two to meet. So did you meet Michelle?
Right. So I think we should trace this back a little bit. I'll try to go over it quickly. But last time I was in London, I was with Nina, and I don't know, I think we were a bit overtired. We personally thought we were the funniest people in the whole entire world. So what did her and I do? We texted the whole entire Chelsea squad saying the most supportive things you could actually say, but in a non-serious way. We didn't think anyone would see it nor reply or react to it. Reece James goes along, accepts Nina's request to text him, likes the message, and her and I are going crazy. So fast forward to a week ago, Tuesday. Nina texts Reece again, saying that I sent him a list of things to do in Copenhagen.
As you do, as a friendly fan, as a tourist, as a mate.
That's what you want to do when a player's in your country. Ideally, you want to give them something to see. So she says that I've texted him, and she sends my profile, and the guy, he texts me, and I'm over the moon. I cannot sleep. I'm on the phone with Nina. I keep saying the F word and cannot physically accept the fact that he's in my DMs. So I do as he tells me to. I text the guy he wants me to text, etc. I try to be really respectful about it, because when else is this ever going to happen to anyone? So we agree that the best time to meet up the day after is 2 p.m.-ish. So I go all the way to Copenhagen, 2.5 hours, and stress a little bit about that. I'm actually afraid I'm going to be too late. An hour after we were supposed to meet, 3 p.m.-ish, they text me that they have overslept, and I didn't, it happens, you never know. And they just let me wait the whole entire day. They text me that they need to eat and stuff, and then 1.5 hours later, I I try to be really respectful and ask them where they're at the moment, because I'm still
Can
waiting.
I just add, you also, being the good person that you are, informed all the other Chelsea fans that may be, you know, in the area, that may be around, that this is happening, because, like you said, this was for the good of everyone. We wanted to make every Chelsea fan that's in Denmark, in the area, to go and potentially meet Reece. That would have been lovely. But
yeah. So I posted it on my story and was like, everyone, Reece is in Copenhagen. I will text you the minute I know where he's gonna do this meetup. Yeah. It takes forever. They then text me after a while, 1.5 hours, whatever, that they're at the gym. It's like, okay, fair enough. It can happen to anyone.
At least he's staying fit.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But it's just, you had somewhere to be at 1 to 2 p.m. Yeah, they overslept, happens. You need to eat, obviously, and then they text me that they're at the gym. I was like, I went all the way to Copenhagen just to wait for you. All right, then this guy texts me back saying, I think it was 5 p.m. here. That is going to be at this hotel at 7, 8 p.m. ish. And keep in mind, they told me that it would be most suitable at 1 to 2, and now they're pushing it to 7, 8. Then he adds, Reece is asleep right now, so I don't even know if it's going to be later. I have never experienced anything more frustrating. So
we laughed about
question,
it.
I did not meet him. I ended up, do you know when you're that frustrated, I just started crying. It's not even because you're like, oh, it's just so sad for me. It's just frustrating with other people's behavior.
You drove 5 hours, there and back.
Yeah, and the thing is, when you drive to the island Copenhagen is located on, from the side of Denmark I live on, you have to pay to cross the bridge. So not only did I have to pay for parking, for gas, I had to pay for the fees to cross the bridge as well. And I spent the whole entire day there. I wasn't home before 10:30 p.m. ish. And all I wanted to do was say, and the worst part is when he said, oh, and also when he does come down, he's just gonna sign a few things quickly if you have pens and then take a photo, but we can't be too long because we need to be somewhere. I was like, you kept me waiting the whole day.
And guys, don't get us wrong, we are laughing about this, but we also are disappointed. And at the end of the day, Michelle is one of, I keep saying this, those of you who haven't watched Carefree Queens or just don't really know much about us, Michelle literally commutes from a different country to come to Stamford Bridge or to go to Chelsea games. So she is literally one of the most loyal fans on this earth, spends her money, literally drives across the country for these players. She went to Cobham in the rain on her own as well. Just all these things which are minor details, but it's just to put into perspective how much she is willing to do for players. And it wasn't even about really going for a fangirl autograph or something like that. Just literally a chat would have been something that would have been highly beneficial.
I thought we had a deal. That's the thing. If they're and to me a deal is a deal. And I obviously didn't want to be disrespectful, because this is never going to happen to anyone ever again, at least not me, that someone's going to text you saying, yeah, sure, let's meet up. That you'll never get that from another Premier League Chelsea legend. Do you know what I mean? So I was actually really torn, because I did not want to be disrespectful and spam them, but then at the same time, it's just they kept me waiting for 8 hours. This whole thing was just. So I did try to be. You helped me out texting them, because obviously English is not my first language, and sometimes people misunderstand what I text, because they do they interpret it in another way. So you help me text them and say that, I don't think it was all right to keep me waiting, etc. And this guy actually said that he did say sorry, which actually meant a lot to me, because I didn't think they were going to realize how rude this was. So they did say sorry, and he said that Reece was going to send me a signed shirt or tickets as an apology. And I mean, if that's going to happen, I'm going to be thrilled. But I just doubt it. I personally think it was a really nice way to make my frustration go away a little bit. So we will see. If I'm gonna sit here with a signed Reece James shirt, you will know. There it is. There it
You have
is.
a funny story. Well, funny story, and it's not a very funny story. It's a
It is
bit of
now.
a disappointing
It is
story,
now.
but it is a funny story now. But anyways, guys, yeah, you're not reading that on Twitter. No transfer news, nothing like that. So this is an exclusive story you get on Carefree Queens. That's why you should follow the next episode. Subscribe to Chelsea Fan TV. Hit the likes. Comment down below your thoughts on the players that we've discussed in this video. Also, your comments on the story if you have any. Yeah, I think that's just a good way to round the episode out, Michelle.
Yeah, it's the most drama we've ever brought to the show.
Yeah.
There you have it. There you have it. Now you know. And I hope at least some people met him. I doubt it. I strongly doubt it because it's really hard to plan after.
You tried your hardest, nevertheless, and you did your best, like you always do. So yeah.
And it's so ridiculous. Like, it was just such a contrast. Like, I was on the floor when I was on the phone with you. It's like, he texted me. Then 24 hours, I was so mad at the guy. I was so frustrated. So, yeah. You win some, you lose some, and this was just a massive L for me.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, that's isn't it? That is it, isn't it? All right. Don't forget to like the video if you liked the episode. Leave a comment down below, like Nina said. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well. And as always, I will make sure that Nina's Instagram is in the bio and mine as well.
Thank
Do you have
you.
anything? Thank you. Cheers. Bye.